Hey yo, I'm saying listen up. We're Black Steve and the Black Attack Squadron, Honky Killer International, with special guest Blackie Blackerson.
What's up?
And this track is called White Bitches is Free. White bitches is free. White bitches is free. Ugly little brats. I hope you like these cats. Blow. How you like us now? Black Steve and the Black Attack Squadron. Now suck it. Now roll over so I can it. Don't look at me. Don't look at me. Cause all you white bitches is free.
From the shadows of forgotten airwaves, from the dusty shelves of media that time tried to bury, this is Echoes from the Crypt. We're here to dig up shows, games, films, and strange little artifacts that shouldn't be left to rot. The stuff that once crackled with life, then slipped into the dark. We're shining a light back onto it before it disappears for good. To understand tonight's subject, you have to remember what television for gamers looked like in the mid-2000s. G4 was TV for gamers. Launched in 2002, it was one of the only places on cable that treated video games like they actually mattered. By 2007, the console wars were raging. Xbox 360, PS Triple, and that Wii. Online multiplayer was exploding. And internet culture was getting louder and weirder. The cake is a lie. My body is ready. Early rickrolls. All your bass energy in forms full of bleat. And G4 was right in the middle of that chaos. And in that strange window, they greenlit something genuinely special. Code Monkeys premiered on G4 on July 11th, 2007. Created by Adam De La Pena, the guy behind Adult Swim's Minority. It ran for 2 seasons and only 26 episodes before vanishing. On the surface, it's a workplace sitcom set in the early 1980s at a fictional Sunnyvale video game company called Gameavision. But the way it presents itself is what makes it unforgettable. The entire show is animated like an 8-bit video game. The characters are bloxy pixel sprites. Think River City Ransom or early NES era graphics. The color palette is deliberately limited. The camera almost never does reverse shots the way normal cartoons do, because old games didn't either. Everything is locked into that rigid, beautiful, low-res aesthetic. Then there's the status bars. At the top and bottom of the screen, you get constant living UI elements straight out of an arcade cabinet. Health bars made out of hearts that drop when Jerry takes an emotional beating. A running score that ticks up for random actions. Text boxes that comment on whatever is happening. When the ultra-creepy game designer Todd starts talking, a douche meter fills up. When the boss goes on one of his insane rants, question marks or crazy factor appears. Before every commercial break, the screen freezes with the classic pause. Episodes open with the player one start and end with a game over. Some even had kill screens after the credits. It wasn't just a visual gimmick. It was the show's entire language. You weren't just watching a cartoon about video games. You were watching a cartoon that was a video game. And that's the key thing. There is no version of Code Monkeys that works outside of this medium. The entire concept collapses without the animation. The limited camera angles, the pixel sprites, the updating status bars, the way the characters die and hit a continue screen. None of that would translate. The medium is the joke. The medium is the world. Compare that to so many modern adult cartoons. Shows that look like they move, like they could just easily be live-action sitcoms with a filter slapped on. The clearest example is going to be Family Guy. Cutaway gags, talking dogs, a dysfunctional family. None of that requires animation. It's just cheaper and more convenient to draw it than to film it. The animation doesn't unlock anything new. It doesn't change the storytelling. It's just there, soulless by default. Code Monkeys is the opposite. It justifies every single frame. If you took away the 8-bit style, the show loses its soul. That's the difference between animation as a creative necessity and animation as a production shortcut. The characters are pure chaos. Dave, voiced by De La Pena himself, is a brilliant stoner programmer who would rather get high and make terrible decisions than do actual work. Jerry is the straight man, the one trying to keep everything from collapsing. Their boss is Bob and Big T Larity, a loud, womanizing, unhinged Texas oil billionaire who buys the company from Steve Wozniak in the pilot, and he has zero understanding of how computers work. Then Larity's dimwit jock son Dean is somehow even worse. There's the supporting cast of pure dysfunction. Todd, the obese, mother-obsessed, deeply creepy game designer, voiced by Master Shake from Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Black Steve, the angry accountant. Clarence, he's gay. Mary, the only competent female programmer and constantly sidelined. Claire, the flirty receptionist. And Benny, a Korean kid locked in the basement as a permanent playtester. What really seals the deal is who showed up to play. Code Monkeys wasn't just a show about nerds. It was a show for nerds, by nerds. Adam and the team didn't settle for random celebrity cameos. They went straight to the source and pulled in actual legends of gaming and geek culture. Steve Wozniak voices himself in the pilot, selling Gameavision to Larity. Atari founder Nolan Bushnell appears. God of War director David Jaffe shows up. Doom co-creator John Romero, Ed Boon, Howard Scott Warshaw, the man who designed E.T., and Gary Gygax, the creator of Dungeons and Dragons. That level of authenticity is unheard of. This wasn't some mainstream network doing a shallow, look at the funny nerds. These were people who grew up in the culture, who understood the history, convinced the actual architects of the history to lend their voices. It gave the whole thing a weird special weight, like the show had permission from the old gods of geekdom to be as ridiculous as it wanted. The humor is lowbrow, rapid fire, and completely unapologetic. It's South Park meets Aqua Teen with a heavy dose of 1980s gaming and pop culture references. Episodes parody real industry disasters like the creation of E.T. for the Atari, corporate takeovers, IPOs, Japanese publishers buying American studios, the general chaos of early game development. The jokes fly so fast that you catch new ones on rewatches. Visual gags are buried in the pixel art that's almost like Smiling Friends. What elevates it beyond the pure shock comedy is the genuine love for the era. The show is packed with deep-cut references only gamers and 80s kids would fully appreciate. G4 claimed the first season was watched by more than 20 million people. Developed a real cult following around the people who found it. Then the network kept drifting away from pure gaming content. The show ended in 2008, and Code Monkeys quietly slipped into the crypt. What remains is something that still feels singular. No other animated series has ever committed this hard to looking and feeling like an actual 8-bit game, while telling stories about the people who made those games. The status bars, the pixels, the sprites, the screens. It's a complete package, a love letter to an era that was already starting to feel distant in 2007. It's crude, it's messy, frequently offensive, and it's still one of the funniest, most inventive things ever put on television. And that's Code Monkeys, an 8-bit echo that I'm going to refuse to let stay buried. Both seasons are streaming on Peacock if you want to boot it up. Or they're all on YouTube. Code Monkey like Scouty.